Update 20.7, and why is Frost looking down there? This doesn't really bring much. There's a lot of fixes, and of course, as usual, there will be a link to the forum post with the full information of all those fixes and everything else in the description below. But apart from that, the only thing that's really come in this update is there are 4 new augments, and I have no idea which syndicate has which. The first one I've come across, Chromatic Blade, is a Exalted Blade augment for Excalibur that will change the damage type depending on the energy colour. This will turn Exalted Blade into Chroma, because Chroma's elemental damage depends on what colour you change his energy colour to, and it looks like this will do the same thing, but it just says status chance is increased by 50%. Obviously when maxed, when you first pick it up, they don't come maxed. I still think they should, but they don't. So you've got a 50% status chance depending on what colour you set the... That could make Excalibur's Exalted Blade even more powerful. But on the words of Chroma, Chroma has a new augment as well. This one allows you to move Effigy, so instead of it just coming off your back and staying wherever you were, you can guide it to a certain position. Actually, it says cast and hold to make the Effigy move to that position, and it will deal 2000 damage per second to any enemy in its path. Okay, that's only 2 out of the 4 new augments, and these are just insane. Mag has one, so does Volt. Weirdly, also within parent sequence with Chromas, of course these won't be the only syndicates that have them, I just can't access certain syndicates. Mag has one called Magnetized Discharge. This is obviously for the Magnetize ability, and you can manually detonate Magnetize by recasting it, and enemies hit with it will have a 50% chance of becoming disarmed. Okay, this one may not deal lots and lots of extra damage like Chromatic Blade and Guided Effigy, but that is still really useful, especially against the Corpus, where Mag of course shines. It's still going to be useful against the Grenier. I just think if you're using a Mag, you're probably going up against the Corpus anyway. Oh, come on, this just isn't fair. Volt has one, I found this in Red Veil, and this one is for his shield. It will allow allies to pick up the shield. That is going to be really useful, but kind of a pain to fit. But any damage absorbed will be added to Volt's static discharge. So this, okay, it's not going to deal an insane amount of damage, but this could also be really useful. Imagine a Volt casting 4 shields, and the entire squad walking along with 1 each. Damn, that could be really useful. Of course, Mag's Magnetizing Discharge is also in New Loka, but I think that's about it from those. The rest of them will of course be behind the 2 that I can't access, which is Cephalon Suda. We'll have some in here. I'm just looking for ones that don't have 1 owned next to it. Chroma's is in here. Is that it for Chroma? Yep. Which means that in theory, Hexus has to have the other Excalibur one, because these are usually in twice. That's Equinox, so for Excalibur would be next one down, and there it is. Chromatic Blade. Chromatic Blade and Guided Effigy, Chroma's one, they just sound really amazing. I'm definitely going to be trying out the Excalibur one, that's for sure. That sounds too good to be true, because imagine if Chroma had the ability to deal elemental stuff at range. That would make it... Well, he does. Chromatic Blade... Nope, that's this one. I'm reading the wrong thing. Guided Effigy basically does that. It moves the Effigy, and having the ability to, of course, move the Effigy and deal damage along the way, this is kind of like Chromatic Blade. So I'm torn which one of these is actually better. I'm looking forward to Chromatic Blade, probably the best, but at the same time, this is also going to make Chroma insanely more useful. But of course, the big downside to these augments is you have to take off other mods to put them in, which means they do become slightly weaker. If you do use Effigy a lot though, that's going to work really well. That's the only 4 augments. There was Chromatic Blade for Excalibur, Magnetized Discharge for Mag, Guided Effigy for Chroma, and Transistor Shield for Volt. In the changes though, there is a change to Ashes, so I'll kind of mention that because I'm in here and this is basically just about augments anyway. Fatal Teleport here will now only teleport them and it'll rotate them round so the back is facing you, because there is a few weapons that don't have frontal finishers, so this will now automatically always turn them around so you teleport behind them to perform the finishers. I don't think that was such a big... I've never really used that augment with a weapon that doesn't really have... Well, to be fair, I've never really noticed if that was a thing or not. I'm only mentioning it because it's an augment and these are all about new augments. So I just thought I'd throw that on the end. Anyway, we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching and I'll catch yous next time. I wish I hadn't used up all my standing already today.